Let's start with the common features of the banknotes. Each notes had a printed word that says, Republika ng Pilipinas.
That is the country's official name in Filipino, the national language, translated to English as the Republic of the Philippines.
Tell us about the coat of arms of the Philippines.
The current coat of arms of the Republic shares many features of the national flag. The golden sun represents liberty. The 8 rays represent the first 8 provinces that revolted against Spain during the Philippine Revolution. The 3 stars stand for the 3 big islands of the Philippines, namely Luzon, the Visayas, and Mindanao. On the blue field is the North American bald eagle of US. And on the red field is the lion rampant of the coat of arms of the Kingdom of Leon of Spain, both representing the country's colonial past.
And what is this logo?
That is the new Central Bank of the Philippines seal. It is a perfect round shape in blue that features 3 gold stars, and a stylized Philippine eagle rendered in white strokes. These main elements are framed on the left side with the text inscription, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, underscored by a gold line drawn in half circle. The right side remains open, signifying freedom, openness, and readiness of the BSP, as represented by the Philippine eagle, to soar and fly toward its goal. Putting all these elements together is a solid blue background to signify stability.
How about the word Dalawampung Piso?
That is 20 peso written in their national language. On the left side is a 20 numeral. And below it is the declaration of Filipino as the national language. Next is a portrait of Manuel L. Quezon. In 1935, Quezon won the Philippines' first national presidential election. He introduced laws to set a minimum wage and limit workdays to 8 hours. He also introduced a tenancy law for the landless Filipino farmers. Quezon established Tagalog as the basis of the Philippines' national language, later officially called as Filipino, the official language of the Philippines. The illustration of a building in the center is the Malabrigo Palace, the official residence of the President of the Philippines. verse, features the rice terraces that were carved into the mountains of the Banawi Ifugao by the ancestors of the indigenous people. The terraces are occasionally called the eighth wonder of the world. Another feature is the Cordilleras weave, known for its colors and striking designs. Ikat or ikat is a style of weaving that uses a resist dyeing process similar to tie-dye on either the warp or weft before the threads are woven to create a pattern or design. A double ikat is when both the warp and the weft are tie-dyed before weaving. Heirloom and antique ikat tapestries are collector's items, and often fetch high prices for their outstanding craftsmanship that showcase intricate weave patterns and motifs. The next is the palm civet, Paradoxurus hermaphroditus philippinensis. It is known as the producer of kopi luwak, a form of coffee from the partially digested coffee cherries, which have been eaten and defecated by the Asian palm civet.
The word, Limampung Piso?
Limampung Piso is 50 pesos in English. The portrait deflected on this note is Sergio Osmeña Sr., the fourth president of the Philippines, from 1944 to 1946. He was the vice president under Manuel L. Quezon, and succeeded him at the age of 65, the first Visayan to become president, and becoming the oldest person to assume the Philippine presidency, prior to the 71-year-old Rodrigo Duterte. Osmeña was elected as the first Speaker of the Philippine Assembly, or the so-called the Philippine National Assembly. It was the lower house of the Philippines from 1907 to 1916, later was renamed the House of Representatives of the Philippines. The first Philippine Assembly meeting is also featured on this note below the 50 numeral. Osmeña accompanied U.S. General Douglas MacArthur during the landing of U.S. forces in Leyte on October of 1944, starting the liberation of the Philippines during the Second World War. Another feature on this note is the commemoration of the Leyte landing of General Douglas MacArthur. The operation codenamed King II launched the Philippines campaign of 1944-45 for the recapture and liberation of the entire Philippine archipelago, and to end the almost 3 years of Japanese occupation. The war memorial is in the municipality of Palo on Leyte Island, in eastern Visayas, and is one of the region's major tourist attractions. The park's focal point are the 7 double life-sized bronze statues, on a shallow man-made pool, depicting MacArthur and his entourage during the historic A-Day landing, as captured in the iconic photo by Gaetano Faillace. They were President-in-exile Sergio Osmeña, Lieutenant General Richard Sutherland, Brigadier General Carlos P. Romulo, Major General Courtney Whitney, Sergeant Francisco Salviron and CBS radio correspondent William J. Dunn. On the reverse of the bill, features the Taal Lake, a freshwater volcanic crater lake, in the province of Batangas on the island of Luzon. It is considered the deepest freshwater lake of the Philippines and the host to active Taal volcano, known as world's smallest volcano. Eruptions for the past centuries had brought about ecological changes in the lake. The once saline water was gradually transformed into fresh water, making it now a home to many endemic species that have evolved and adapted to the desalination of the lake's waters. Another feature is the Malabrigo, or the Giant Tray Valley, the Carunx ignobilis. The lake has a freshwater adapted population of the Giant Tray Valley, locally known as Malabrigo, a delicious milky fish which is visible at the lower portion of the volcano. Also featured, a lacework design that originated in the same region as the featured scenic spot. An intricate embroidery design, handcrafted in Batangas, was made to complete the set of wonders that are proudly Batangueño.
Piso.
That's 100 Piso written in their national language. The 100 Piso bill bears the portrait of Manuel Acuña Rojas, also features the Central Bank of the Philippines of 1949 and the inauguration of the Third Republic on July 4, 1946. These three subjects were interrelated. Rojas was the fifth president of the Philippines who served from 1946 until his death in 1948. He briefly served as the third and last president of the Commonwealth of the Philippines from May 28, 1946, and then became the first president of the independent Third Philippine Republic on July 4, 1946, after the United States ceded its sovereignty over the Philippines. He initiated the drafting of a charter for the establishment of the Central Bank of the Philippines, which he deemed as a step towards sovereignty. The central banking was originally established on January 3, 1949 as Central Bank of the Philippines, though it was then re-established due to the new Central Bank Act on July 3, 1993. On the reverse side of the 100 Piso bill is the Bicol region's pride and one of the best natural icons. It is the country's most active volcano, having erupted over 49 times in the past 400 years according to sources. Renowned for its near-perfect cone, Maja's symmetrically conical shape was formed by pyroclastic and lava flows from previous eruptions. The next is the Botantine or whale shark, Rincadon typus, a slow-moving, filter-feeding carpet shark and the largest known extant fish species. It is the main attraction in Tunsul Sorsogon. It is a new attraction also nowadays in the town of Oslub in the southern part of Cebu, of the Visayas group of islands. Also featured is the lacework design. Highlight on this bill was crafted from indigenous textile in the Bicol region.
Next is the word Dalawang Daang Piso.
The 200 Piso banknote of the Philippines comes with the portrait of President Gustavo P. Macapagal. He was known for the land reform and his socio-economic agenda that started the process of economic liberalization. President Macapagal is remembered for having moved the celebration of the Philippine Independence Day from July 4, 1946 to June 12, 1898. That's when General Aguinaldo declared independence from Spanish colonial rule. Also featured on this bill, the oath-taking of his daughter Gloria Macapagal Arroyo as president during the EDSA People Power II on January 2001. The Barasoan Church of Malolos, Bulacan. 3 important episodes in the Philippine history were played out here. The convening of the First Philippine Congress on September 15, 1898. The drafting of the Malolos Constitution on September 29, 1898 to January 21, 1899, and the inauguration of the First Philippine Republic on January 23, 1899. These events count among the proudest moments in the lives of Filipinos. The reverse of the bill features the chocolate hills, which appear verdant green on rainy days and chocolate brown during the dry season. Numbering about 1,266 hills, they rise to 30 to 50 meters. Most people who first see pictures of the landscape can hardly believe that these hills are not man-made artifacts. It is said that up to this day, not even geologists have reached a consensus on how they were formed. The most commonly accepted theory is that they are the weathered formations of a kind of marine limestone on top of impermeable layer of clay. Another feature is the Philippine tarsia. Considered Bohol's trademark, is known for being one of the world's smallest primates that can fit comfortably in one hand. Also featured is the handcrafted lacework of the Visayas, which further indicates that the Filipino creativity is widespread, and is not a monopoly of Luzon.
about Limang Daang Piso?
The 500 Piso bill of the Philippines. The previous issue had only Ninoy Aquino's portrait. On the latest series had his wife on his side, President Corazon Cory C. Aquino, the 11th President of the Philippines and the first woman to hold that office in Philippine history. She is best remembered for inspiring the nonviolent 1986 People Power Revolution. She is an icon of democracy here and abroad. Senator Benigno Ninoy S. Aquino Jr., President Cory Aquino's husband, was also acknowledged as an icon of democracy long before her presidency. His struggle and quest for democracy, freedom from political dynasty and dictatorship led to his imprisonment, exile, and eventual assassination. His death set the stage for the first EDSA revolution. Look here. The signatory of this bill was Benigno S. Aquino III. He is their son, also known as Noynoy, a signatory of Philippine banknotes during his term of office as President of the Republic. Below the 500 numeral is the scene taken during the EDSA People Power Revolution on February 1986. The historical event where the majority of the Filipino installed Cory Aquino into power as President of the Republic. The relatively peaceful manner by which Aquino came into power drew international acclaim and admiration not only for her but for the Filipino people as well. On the reverse of the bill is the Puerto Princesas Subterranean River National Park. The 8-kilometer river in Palawan is one of the 28 finalists for the new 7 Wonders of Nature competition. A distinguishing feature of the river is that it winds through a cave before flowing directly into the South China Sea. It includes major formations of stalactites and stalagmites as well as several large chambers. The Puerto Princesas Subterranean River is reputed to be the world's longest underground river. The area also represents a habitat for biodiversity conservation. The site contains a full mountain to the sea ecosystem and has some of the most important forests in Asia. It was inscribed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site on December 4, 1999. Records show that the park is home to 165 of the 252 known bird species in Palawan, including all of the 15 endemic bird species of the province. The bird featured on this note is one of the notable species seen in the park, the blue-nape parrot, also known as the Luzon parrot or Philippine green parrot, or locally called picoy, the Tanagnathus lucianensis. And the next feature is the woven cloth from southern Philippines. This completes the design on the reverse of the note.
And the last, Sunlibang Piso.
It means 1,000 piso in their national language. The 1,000 piso new generation currency series of the Philippines, the current highest currency denomination. Below the 1,000 numeral is the 1998 centennial celebration of the Philippine Independence. The bill featured not just one but three heroes who exemplified martyrdom, selflessness, and bravery for the sake of the Filipino people and the country. Jose Faillace Escoda, a social worker, educator, advocate of women's suffrage, founder of the Girl Scouts of the Philippines and newspaper editor. She showed extraordinary courage by helping prisoners of war during the Japanese occupation of the Philippines. For this act, she and her husband Antonio were killed before the end of the war. Next is Brigadier General Vicente Lim, the first Filipino West Point graduate. He became Chief of Staff of the Philippine Army, initially wounded in action along with Escoda's husband. He directed guerrilla activities from his hospital bed during World War II. He was eventually captured and killed by the Japanese. For his military service, he received the highest awards, including the Legion of Merit and the Purple Heart. And the other one is Chief Justice Jose Abad Santos, considered one of the greatest Filipino heroes of World War II for having served as acting president of the Philippines at the beginning of the war. He was executed for refusing to cooperate with the Japanese forces during their occupation of the Philippines. On the reverse is the Tubataha Reef's natural park. The Tubataha Reef, which lies in a unique position in the middle of the Sulu Sea, and is one of the Philippines' oldest ecosystems, is the hallmark at the reverse of the note. It plays a key role in the process of reproduction, dispersal, and colonization by marine organisms in the whole Sulu Sea system and helps support fisheries outside its boundaries. The park provides an important habitat for internationally threatened and endangered marine species. The property supports the highest population density known in the world for white-tip reef sharks. The critically endangered Christmas Island frigate bird is a regular visitor to the property. Another feature is the oyster with a pearl inside, located at the center bottom of the note. It can be found in the Sulu Sea, a part of the South Seas, the natural habitat of oysters that produce the largest pearls grown in the world. The colors of these treasures range from white to silver and golden. And of course the general feature of the currency series that comes in different variety for every note. On this note is the so-called Tino lock or Ikat-dyed abaca woven local fabric in Mindanao. The definitive relic of the Muslim-influenced culture completes the reverse of the note.